Voice reveal. Hello, welcome to the video. You probably saw the title and thought, oh, a new shiny Vex hybrid, ooh. And if you thought that, you're absolutely correct. Listen, I know this audio is recorded after April Fool's, but I promise it's not late April Fool's, okay? Let's get straight to the point though. Some may look at this hybrid in the thumbnail and think, oh, how is it going to defeat Vex? Like, it doesn't look so unique, how's it gonna defeat Vex, huh? It's not meant to look fancy. It's meant to be effective. I'm not like other people who just throw in random crap and hope for the best, like, oh, stonefish, scorpionfish, megalodon, electric eel, box, jellyfish, linesman, jellyfish, Sicilian poison dart. No, that stuff doesn't work, especially against Vex, since she's already proven to be resistant to that stuff. Why was that so hard to say? Holy sh. Let's just get to the point though. Amodipsosaurus thanatos. What can it do? What is its gene pool? How big is it? Just 1 second to explain, little ones. First off, its gene pool. Tylosaurus pembensis, Dunkleosteus torelli, Basilosaurus isis, green moray eel, common thresher shark, eastern red scorpionfish, caiman lizard, bearded goby, Eurasian water shrew, and finally axolotl. Ew, but what did these gene contributors do? I'm going to get to that. First, let me explain how big and fast it is. You know, that stuff. 70 feet long, 15.5 metric tons. Top speed, 25 miles per hour. Very, and I mean very, maneuverable. It's got a bite force of 5 tons. Its teeth also have the capability to grip, crush, and shred. Let's talk about the abilities of this hybrid and how the gene contributors contributed to them. First off, we're going to talk about the Tylo. It serves as the base of this hybrid, giving it a good old size, but you know, basically 90% of the body build. Next, we talk about the Dunkleosteus. Sorry, couldn't help myself. Alright, the Dunkleosteus. Now, originally it was going to reinforce the jaw and give a strong snapping bite, but then someone told me, oh, the jaw might be reinforced, but the muscles might still break. So that's why I'm exclusively using the Dunkleosteus to reinforce the skull and the jaw. Next, let's go over onto the Basilosaurus. Now, its bite seems weak compared to the Tylosaurus, so it would seem like there's no point adding it to an increased jaw strength. Keep in mind that its head-to-body size ratio is pretty small, so if scaled up, it should probably be stronger. Alright, green moray eel. The reason I use the moray eel is because its teeth are grippy. Also because it has a second set of jaws that I want to use to increase the gripping even more. Common thresher shark's turn. Alright, so you see that ginormous tail fin on Amodipsosaurus? Yeah, so that's where I put thresher shark DNA. And if Vex gets hit by that tail, I'm pretty sure she's going to get CTE. Since a thresher shark can already probably kill a human with 1 tail whip, I think it's safe to say that if Vex gets hit by that tail fin, powered by that really long tail, yeah, her skull's gonna be in many pieces, you could say. Next we have the Eastern Red the Eastern If you don't stop playing that phone right now, I'm gonna Eastern Red Scorpionfish. I add this genome to give my hybrid some toxic spiny fins.
You hypocrite, how could you? You're syntax resistant to poison and then Shut up.
I added red scorpionfish DNA because I didn't know Vex was resistant to poison at the time. Plus, she's only resistant, not immune. I'm sure a large dose of poison could kill her. Putting that aside though, this could come in handy if there are other hybrids that my hybrid may face up against. Alright, next up we have Cayman Lizard. I added the Cayman Lizard so that this guy could, 1, have some pretty good armor, and 2, to have an even longer tail.
Long.
This explains why my hybrid is so long, at 70 feet long. Next up is the bearded goby. This may surprise people because, oh, what can a stupid little fish do? It's just a stupid goby. How is it gonna help out with your hybrid?
Dude, if you don't shut up, I'm going to beat you so hard your butt's going to be bleeding, you bum.
It helps out because if my hybrid has to face stuff like, I don't know, jellyfish, yeah, it's gonna have no problem with them. Next up is the
You're cheating. You're using you're using a land animal. The shrews are land animals. Let me finish.
So the Eurasian water shrew. The Eurasian water shrew is allowed because it's a water shrew. That being said, it's still a red-toothed shrew, so I'm going to be using it for its iron deposits in its enamel and its venomous saliva. Last but not least is axolotl DNA, and it's for a simple purpose, regeneration. This isn't going to be relevant in battle, but if it does stuff like break its tail, hurt itself while trying to eat something, cool, it can heal. If it loses its fins in a fight, heal back. Loses its, I don't know, half its face in a fight, grow back. If it's dead! Okay, that closes off the abilities and genetics section. Now, let's move on to some of its habits, its behavior, how it hunts, how it will defeat Vex. This may come as a surprise to some people, but my hybrid is not some bloodthirsty monster that wants to eat everything in sight. Shown in the artwork, he's actually chilling, laying on the seafloor and letting a fish pick some food out of his teeth. He typically resides in places such as coral reefs and kelp forests because he blends in more in those places. That being said, when he's hungry, he, yes, does go out and start hunting for food. Typically, he just eats whatever fits in his mouth. However, desperate times call for desperate measures. These desperate measures are usually clashing with creatures just as large as himself. Some examples are stuff like whales, large sharks. Sometimes he'll be seen massacring pods of dolphins and orcas. He will also eat jellyfish if he has to. And sometimes he even decides to fight and eat other hybrids. But what strategies does he use to hunt his prey? It usually depends on what the prey is. If he's hunting a school of fish, he's gonna either A, go in there and scoop them up with his mouth, or B, whip up a bunch of them and eat the cut in half fish. If he's hunting stuff like seals, he's probably gonna chase them down or ambush them. If he's hunting a pod of dolphins, he's just gonna whip some and yeah, he's gonna eat them. If the dolphins start fighting back, then their pod is probably gonna be completely gone. Dolphins are gonna be cut in half, eaten whole, poisoned, basically anything a Modipsosaurus can do. For orcas, it's the same thing, but with a little more effort. When he's tussling with creatures of his own size, that's where he has to lock in. If it's in the same weight class as him, so 10-20 tons, yeah, let's just say he's gonna be thrashing them about. If it's something in like 20, 30, or 40 ton range, he's gonna have to use his speed and agility to his advantage. Tail whips, flanking bites, headbutts, rams, you name it. If it's like 50 to 100 tons, basically the same thing, but way more effort. If he's fighting a super fast creature, such as Vex, he's gonna have to time his strikes. However, his really fast whipping tail makes it all the easier to knock his opponent out. Keep in mind, by the way, that anything past a few dolphins would be way more than enough to fill him up if he's not starving to death. But how's he gonna defeat Vex? Kinda simple, actually.
Time to move on to that topic.
To be honest, just make your more hard. I'm not really gonna probably find something to fight Vex again.
Alright, here's how it's gonna go down. The first step is to encounter Vex, which shouldn't be too hard if Amo is feeling particularly hungry. Either that, or if Vex is just, well, going around, brain on autopilot, head empty, no thoughts.
The next step would be to initiate a fight. Obviously.
Now, there are a few ways to start off this fight, one of them being Amo trying to ambush Vex from within a kelp forest and failing miserably because Vex has echolocation. So now he has to initiate a long fight, most likely. Another way is if Amo is just chilling and Vex happens to find him in the kelp forest. There's many other ways, like Amo chilling on a reef and Vex finding him, or Amo going out into the open and Vex finding him, or he finds Vex. In each and every scenario, the fight would most likely be very similar. Vex would be trying to overwhelm, bully, or even speed blitz Amo, while Amo is trying to outmaneuver Vex and not allow her to flank him or hit his weak spots. Wait, doesn't Vex move at like 56 miles per hour or something? Well, yes, that's fast. I don't think that would be fast enough for Amo to not be able to react to her. And I'm pretty sure his tail would be able to whack her pretty fast. Considering how fast Vex is, Amo's bite might or might not be out of the question. But if it's not out of the question, Vex is going to get packed up. Now, that being said, I don't think his bite is entirely out of the question considering how maneuverable he is. But his armor, it's going to be so slow.
You should have stayed dead.
His armor is not going to slow him down that much. It's not that heavy of armor. It's just caiman lizard scales, which should be armored enough so he isn't exposed as Vex is. Once again, something I'm going to mention, his tail. It's going to be his most useful weapon against Vex, since it's by far the fastest. How fast is it, though? It's absolutely fast enough to hit Vex. Probably around like 70 miles per hour, considering Amo is way bigger than a Thresher Shark. I'm not gonna hold you. I think the Thresher Shark is a bit underrated and underused. Like, I'm gonna need you to listen here. People are always talking about, oh, Mantis Shrimp is strong, Pistol Shrimp is strong, but no one's talking about Thresher Shark. It's got a tail whip that's fast enough to make water boil. It's similar to the Mantis Shrimp's punch and the Pistol Shrimp's snap because the Thresher Shark's tail moves so fast that it lowers the water pressure and creates steam, which forms small bubbles, and these bubbles collapse, which causes a shockwave, a boiling hot shockwave, which stuns prey. How effective would this be on Vex? I think it would be super effective. This because the tail whip is empowered not by a small shark tail, but a really long tail, in addition to the long tail fin. But what if Vex goes for the fins? Well, she can go for the fins if she wants to get, I don't know, spiked. Oh yeah, scorpion fish DNA. While this may not kill her super fast, I think it would still affect her, considering the large doses injected into her. What if she goes for the underbelly though? Well, that's still relatively armored,
so I think he could take a few hits, especially because Vex's bite force is not 19,000 psi. And before you say anything about her speed blitzing him, I just want to tell you this. He is basically immune to flanking. His tail is absurdly fast, his fins, they're spiny. He's armored pretty well, but not too well in that he can't move. If you for whatever reason try to ram into his face, good luck, because his head is gonna be way harder than yours most likely. And don't even think of trying to go for his skills, you're gonna be in his peripheral vision. But what if a bigger creature attacks him from below? Oh, easy. It's not going to. He doesn't usually dwell in open areas where he could be ambushed pretty well. He's in areas where he can blend in, like sitting on reefs or chilling in kelp forests. Now, how well do I think he would fare against Vex? I think he'd fare pretty well. He's just too tanky, he's too much of a powerhouse. He's still relatively fast, he's really maneuverable. In conclusion, I think I've made a pretty good hybrid. In fact, I'm pretty proud of what I've made. This video took a while to make, and I took some breaks here and there, but hey, I've got the juice to finally finish off this video. In fact, speaking of finish off, it's nearing the end of this video, so you know what? Cut the Hajime no Ippo soundtrack. I'm gonna end this video with a little song I like. I really hope you guys like this video. If there's any errors I made about the facts in this video, please tell me in the comments. A like and subscribe would be appreciated. Anyways, though, goodbye.